How you doing, everyone? I'm Russ Salzberg, and welcome to our Fox 5 News Special, Homegrown. Tonight, we're going to share with you a few examples of local products from the world of sports who have beaten the odds and have made their presence felt in a big-time way on the national stage. Here's a quick look at what we have on tap for you. Up first, the story of grit and determination rising out of the mean streets in the Bronx.
I felt that God had blessed me with a little bit of talent. If I didn't use it, I was cheating him.
Willie Worsley may have stood only 5 foot 6 inches tall, but his basketball stature is the stuff of legend, including breaking down racial barriers and receiving the game's highest honor.
Good, there you go.
Then we step into the squared circle out in Staten Island, where boxing trainer Teddy Atlas uses the sweet science as a way to mentor youngsters and world champion fighters as well. And finally, the story of a kid raised in the projects of Elizabeth, New Jersey, who grew up to become head coach of one of the NFL's historic franchises. Todd Bowles' triumphant return home.
Daddy B, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
I've been doing all right, man.
But right now, what do you say we begin in the South Bronx, where an undersized Willie Worsley began a life in basketball, dealing with adversity and racism along the way. But in the end, this homegrown star not only persevered in making it to the top of the game, he became part of history while changing the face of college basketball forever. 5-5! Get a man!
They got to be in the paint. Everybody got the rebound.
Willie Worsley is the basketball coach at Spring Valley High School up in Rockland County, New York, a position he's held for the past 31 years. Last year, his team won the sectional championship.
2-2-2!
The Miners of Texas Western were crowned as national college basketball champions.
But it's for another championship 50 years ago that number 24 Willie Worsley will always be remembered, a game that forever changed the landscape of college basketball.
As Kentucky has lost the championship game for the first time in their history.
March 19th, 1966, Willie was one of the starting 5 for the Texas Western Miners, marking the first time in history that 5 African-American players would start in an NCAA championship game for one team. Not only did they start, they upset the heavily favored Kentucky Wildcats 72-65 to capture the NCAA title. Did you realize the significance then?
Absolutely not. Had no idea. It had to begin someplace. What we did, in changing the makeup of the coachings in the all-white team, and the all-white team has some color to it now, it would have happened anyway. But maybe not as quick.
Coach Haskins is starting 5 black players, a first in NCAA championship history.
More than 40 years later, their story of breaking the racial divide on the hardwood was depicted in the movie Glory Road.
This is the greatest upset in NCAA history.
I think Glory Road put the word out there. Glory Road, keep the word out there. Glory Road did a lot for us. And hopefully we'll continue to do a lot for other people to realize that basketball was the hook. The history of the 60s was really what we was talking about.
The film brought to light the difficult journey faced by head coach Don Haskins and his groundbreaking team.
People started to call us names beside the name that our mother and father gave us.
You want to shut them up, then win.
Coach Haskins was very good at that. He taught us that if we wanted to shut them up, outscore them on the scoreboard.
An amazing fact about Willie Worsley is that he never played basketball until he was 13 years old. But once he did, the little man was making some very big things happen right here at DeWitt Clinton High School in the Bronx.
I wasn't a bad kid. I never missed a day of school, high school. Why? My mother got up every morning and went to work. If she can go to work and put food on my table and clothes on my back, I for sure can go sit my little fat butt in the desk and learn.
And it was at DeWitt Clinton in 1963 that team captain Willie Worsley, all of 5'6", would lead his team into a sold-out Madison Square Garden against Boys High to capture the New York City basketball title. Little big man Willie was named the game's MVP.
I felt that God had blessed me with a little bit of talent. If I didn't use it, I was cheating him. And that's why I worked real hard at it. I had a sort of good jump shot, so I didn't have to go shoot layups. I was able to dunk the ball. I don't know how, but I dunked the ball. So I was able to get to the basket. And my biggest problem was on defense. From the foul line down low, I mean, I'm 2'9", they're 6'9". But from foul line to foul line, that was my turf.
Following his playing days at Texas Western, Willie was drafted by the Dallas Chaparrals of the old ABA. Then he quickly was traded to the hometown New York Nets.
When they drafted me, and I went to Dallas and said I was going to the Nets, man, my eyes got big. You talk about teal joy. I said, when the plane leaving? I didn't even change clothes. I don't think I took a shower. It was really a beautiful thing, you know, to come back home, New York City, and play pro ball.
Also among this Bronx kid's top memories, an invite to the White House for dinner with President George W. Bush.
Motion, motion, motion.
But it's the aspect of coaching that still gives this trailblazer his greatest satisfaction.
Everybody got the rebound. You got it? Yeah. Come on, fellas, let's go. Hard work.
1, 2, 3. Hard work.
Look at my face. This is what basketball do to me. If I can help one kid to become a better person, a productive citizen, I'm successful.
His autobiography is aptly named, Our Reward Will Be in History. And in 2007, Willie and his entire Texas Western team cemented their place in history as they were jointly inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Texas Western.
He spoke about getting the call to top all calls.
Will, you're in the Hall of Fame. So, you know, being from the South Bronx, you can't cry. Ah, don't worry about it. I can handle this. Phone drop, I cry for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I still cry when I think about it. It's the best thing that happened me in my basketball career. You can't take away from us. History, Hall of Fame, #1, national champion. You can't take none away from us.
This past March, Willie and his Texas Western teammates celebrated the 50th anniversary of their historic win. The great Jackie Robinson once said, "A life only matters on the impact it has on other lives." And Willie Worsley continues to live his life that way, impacting young people in a very positive way. Still to come, he's a kid from the streets of Staten Island.
This is where I grew up, you know. This is where my father's from, my mother's from. This is where all the memories are.
We'll show you why Teddy Atlas is in a league of his own when it comes to the fight game, next. All right, welcome back to Homegrown. Trainer Teddy Atlas is revered in the world of boxing. He has guided fighters to championship heights. But tonight we're going to show you why this Staten Island guy is so much more about substance than show.
Good, there you go. That's very good. Instead of waiting for me to catch up, doesn't it make sense to stay ahead of me?
For Staten Island's Teddy Atlas, one of the best and most respected trainers in boxing, it doesn't matter if he's in the ring teaching kids.
Much better. I'm not hitting you with the left hook. Isn't that better?
Yeah.
I think so.
Or working the corner in a championship fight.
We are firemen. Got it, Coach. The heat doesn't bother us. We live in the heat.
The sport of boxing is known as the sweet science, but for Teddy, it's a very, very serious business.
There's a danger element to it. I mean, you could go inside that ring and come out with less of yourself than you went in there with. I mean, it's a tough business. You better be freaking strict about it. You better be serious about it. You better have boundaries. You better have rules and laws about how you prepare for it. Punches aren't just thrown for the sake of throwing them. They gotta be thrown from the right position at the right time.
Teddy Atlas has prepared fighters all over the world with great success, guiding Michael Moorer to the heavyweight title. But despite all his success, Teddy remains grounded to his Staten Island roots. A lot of people forget where they came from. It's very important to you not to forget.
This is where I grew up, you know. This is where my father's from, my mother's from. This is where all the memories are, you know. And people that I care about. And you got to show them that you care about them. You know, and you come back and you let them know that you care about them. Well, we try to help people, and it's important to help people, isn't it?
Teddy learned all about caring from his late father, a Staten Island doctor who treated those in need for free, because as he would tell his son, these people shouldn't fall through the cracks. So in his honor 20 years ago, Teddy created the Dr. Theodore Atlas Foundation.
It's our privilege, really, to be able to come back to a place that you love and maybe help just a little bit. It's a good thing.
Yeah, but you help a lot.
A little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Helping kids have their lives pointed in the right direction is a top priority of the foundation. That's why Teddy opened up 3 boxing gyms, 2 in his hometown of Staten Island and 1 in Brooklyn.
We teach kids to be in control of themselves. We teach kids to have pride about themselves. Some of these kids, they have no reason to have pride about themselves. Boxing can be used, and we use boxing, I'm not ashamed to say it. We use it as a tool to get the kids to care about themselves. To be responsible for themselves. You can't be a good fighter if you're not in control, and if you don't understand that you have to be in control.
But there was a time when things got way out of control for Teddy. Under the tutelage of his mentor up in the Catskills, the legendary trainer Cus D'Amato, one of the first kids Teddy would train would become a heavyweight champion, Mike Tyson. But after guiding Tyson to great success as an amateur, an ugly incident would destroy the relationship. You're up in the Catskills with Mike Tyson, you're training him as an amateur. He grabs your wife's 11-year-old sister, tells her what he wants to do to her. You find out about it, you wait, you grab a gun, you stick it in his ear, then you pull it up in the air, you pull the trigger. Was that defending the family honor? Was it being just crazy, or a combination of both?
I thought it was making sure that he couldn't take something away from a family member of mine that they could never get back. I didn't want him to do that. I didn't want him to take that away. And I cared more about that than I thought about anything else at that moment.
After that incident, Cus D'Amato offered Teddy 5% of all of Tyson's future earnings, which would eventually be $300 million if Teddy would just go away. So Teddy left, but he also told his mentor to take the offer and shove it. The move cost Teddy millions, but none of his principles.
If I do something today that's a little weak, I try before I do it. I feel the same as anyone else. I feel like, gee, that might be convenient. That might be easy. It might make a few extra dollars, whatever. It might be comfortable for the minute.
Right.
But tomorrow, how am I going to feel about it?
Since that incident with Tyson 33 years ago, there have been a lot of tomorrows for Teddy. But any regrets?
No, because I've been blessed. You know, I have 2 very healthy, beautiful children and a great wife and a pretty good reputation.
No question about it, Teddy's reputation is rock solid. No place more so than to his hometown in Staten Island, where to the folks there, he is indeed a favorite son. Still to come, he's a Jersey guy who returned home to coach one of the NFL's storied franchises.
Of all places to get a head job in your hometown or home state, so to speak, is unbelievable.
Todd Bowles and the pride he feels about being a product of Elizabeth, New Jersey. Thanks for staying with us for a Fox 5 News special, Homegrown. Now the story of a local Jersey kid who would return home to become head coach of one of the NFL's historic franchises.
We had this court where everybody would just go out and play and do whatever, so there was a bunch of us. That's how you learn how to play baseball, football, basketball, play cards and everything else. So you don't notice that you don't have anything because you have so many friends around, it didn't matter.
Todd Bowles grew up in the Pioneer Homes projects in Elizabeth, New Jersey, never knowing that one day he'd return to his Garden State roots and become head coach of the New York Jets. When you talk about Elizabeth, you got a smile on your face. So as you say, you didn't have a lot, but you did have a lot because it looks like it was good times for you there.
It was great times. I wouldn't trade anything in the world for it. Growing up with the friends I had and going to school the way I did and learning the things and experience I've learned there, you can't get nowhere else.
A former Major League manager, Jimmy Williams, once said to me, he said, Russ, you can teach players skills, you can teach them technique, you can't ever teach hunger. You buy that?
I do agree with it. You know, you grow up kind of learning that and you kind of have it automatically. If you don't have it, you can't get it. You know, Coach Aarons used to tell me it's better to say whoa than sick 'em. So, you know, you got to have it.
Coach Arians is Bruce Arians, the current head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He was also Todd's college coach at Temple University, the school he attended on a football scholarship after starring in both football and baseball during his days at Elizabeth High. But following his college career, Todd's path to the pros hit a snag due to an injury.
I was a one-armed guy. You know, I dislocated 6 out of 7 bones in my wrist. I was actually never supposed to play again. So I understood why I didn't get drafted. I went to the combine, but I couldn't do a push-up. I couldn't do a bench press at 225, and who's going to draft a one-arm safety?
You go undrafted. You end up with the Washington Redskins, and in your second year, you're not only a full-time starter, you become a Super Bowl champion. That's quite an accomplishment.
You know, it happened so fast in my early 20s that I wish I had it back so I could enjoy it more. But it's just the next phase in life. You just play football. That's all I know how to do at that time. And I expected to make the team. I expected to play. I expected to start because I always worked at it.
When your Redskins won the Super Bowl, they were led by Doug Williams, the first African-American quarterback to accomplish that. At that time, did you appreciate the significance of it?
I think it was in later years because we were still preparing to play, and I was, what, 23, maybe 23 years old at the time, my second year. So you knew everything that was happening, but while you're in the game, you have to concentrate on what you have to do because there was a bunch of us that were just playing, and it was a team effort. And after the fact, you didn't get a chance to recognize it until really I got in my 30s. You don't really get a chance to appreciate what had really happened.
After a solid 8-year career in the NFL, it was Bowles' former quarterback with the Redskins, Doug Williams, that gave him his first opportunity into the coaching ranks.
I hadn't thought about coaching, but Doug thought I would be a great coach, and I turned him down several times because I thought he had a million people to choose from, and he said he wanted me, and I said I never coached before. He said he practiced against me every day. He think I'd be good at it. So I went to Morehouse, and Doug was the head coach. I was the defensive coordinator. My first job was a defensive coordinator, not quality control or position coach. It was DC. And then we went to Grambling after that 1 year, his alma mater. For 2 years, I was the defensive coordinator there.
From college, it was on to the pros, where Todd spent time as an assistant on 6 different NFL teams. In 2014, he served as a defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals and his old college coach at Temple, Bruce Arians. Then, the big break came in 2015, when Todd was named head coach of the New York Jets.
Of all places to get a head job in your hometown or home state, so to speak, is unbelievable. You know, you really don't sit back and think about it until you retire, but some days you sit back and at least for a half a second, you're like, wow, I can't believe it. I haven't been home in a long time. So to come back home, especially to the fanfare that I've been getting and to coach a team as historic as the Jets is a great honor.
You seem like a guy who is a no-nonsense guy, always on an even keel, very guarded about your emotions. Is that fair to say?
I have my days. I'm about as crazy as everybody else. I have my days in practice where I'm yelling. I have temper tantrums like everybody else. I joke around a lot. I'm probably very sarcastic. But you know, that's all outside of football. Football-wise, no nonsense when it comes to loafing and being late for meetings and not knowing your assignments type of thing, but everything else, I'm normal.
And dealing with the media?
The media is part of it, you know. As I said, the media is just like it was in Arizona. There's only about 95 more of them.
Talk about coming full circle. Todd recently returned to his hometown of Elizabeth, where a field was named in his honor.
That was very humbling, especially down where I grew up at. They tore down the old projects and put up some townhomes and houses and made it real nice. And to get a field, I didn't want to go because usually when people get fields named after them, they already passed away. And I thought, I was like, am I dying? I said, please, no. But it was a great honor, and I can't say enough about it.
You won a Super Bowl in your second year as a player. This is your second year as a head coach of the Jets. I'm not suggesting you're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but what would be better, winning it as a player or winning a Super Bowl as a head coach?
At 23, I would tell you as a player. At 52, definitely a coach.
Good stuff from a top-notch guy. And that, folks, is a wrap on our Fox 5 News special, Homegrown. Thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Salzberg. Have yourselves a good night.